In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 10 best center cards right now in NBA 2K25 My Team. Let me know in the comment section down below what two centers you guys are currently rocking on your squad in Season 7. And of course, let me know what you guys would change about my top 10. But at the number 10 spot, we do have 100 overall Kristaps Porzingis. And yes, Kristaps is probably better at the power forward position. I feel like most people that have this card probably run him at power forward, but he could still be a really good center option. 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan, not like a giant overpowered tall center, but still very solid at the center position when it comes to the height. The stats and the badges, of course, are going to be almost perfect because he's a 100 overall card. So to have like the speed on Kristaps, to have the strength, right, to have even the perimeter and the steal, all of these stats, smooth ball handle, pass accuracy, they make a huge difference in game. And Kristaps still has a great jump shot. His SIGs aren't the best, but he's got decent movement for a center card. And overall, I think Kristaps Porzingis still one of the best center cards in this entire game. I do have him at number 10. Now, number 9, I got Dark Matter Zach Edey. I feel like 100 overall Kristaps is definitely the better card compared to Zach Edey, but at the center position, I would take Edey just because of his size, right? Being 7'5" at center, 7'10" wingspan, he's got a much larger player model, and he's the better center card, right? Because if you're gonna run Kristaps, run him at the power forward position and put like a Zach Edey at center, it just makes a lot more sense than running Kristaps at center with a smaller power forward. Just run Kristaps at the 4, put Zach Edey or a taller center at the center position. But yes, Edey is an absolute giant of a card. His defense is really good on the interior. His player model helps him play such good defense on the inside. Now his perimeter and his steal could be a lot better, and I would say that's the one flaw about Zach Edey besides his speed and maybe, you know, not the craziest of jump shots in the world when it comes to the 3-ball rating, but I do think he's got a good jump shot. And again, at the center position, because of his size, his player model, and his defensive animations, you got to have Zach Edey somewhere in your top 10. Now, number 8 is going to be Dark Matter Mark Eden. Very similar card to Zach Edey, and if you wanted to put Edey over Mark Eden, I could understand that conversation. They're both absolute giants when it comes to the center position. Mark Eden 7'4" with a 7'8" wingspan, a little bit less when it comes to the weight and player model. I would say Edey's got the at least bigger player model. I think Mark Eden's player model is better in my personal opinion. I feel like he plays a little bit more defense in game. He's a lot more solid when it comes to the steal and the perimeter, at least when it comes to, you know, in game. And he does have Hall of Fame interceptor, which I don't believe Zach Edey has. He does have Hall of Fame interceptor, but I just feel like Mark Eden's a slightly better defender with also the better jump shot. That's the main thing, is I do prefer his jump shot more. His SIGs are also a lot better. Not that you're going to be moving with Mark Eden, but I do think having a little bit better of SIGs and being able to move a tiny bit does help even at the center position. But again, honestly, it's like 8A, 8B. Like both of these cards could be argued at number 8 and at number 9. Getting into the top 7 though is going to be Galaxy Opal Victor Wembanyama. I know he's only a Galaxy Opal card, but we're still talking about a 7'4" center with a 7'8" wingspan, the exact same as Mark Eden's. Yes, the speed is about the same and the strength is a lot lower, but the thing about Wemby compared to Mark Eden and Zach Edey as these giant overpowered tall centers is Wemby has an uncontestable, very easy jump shot to green. So the thing about this card is that his release and his 3-point ability is going to be a lot higher compared to Zach Edey and Mark Eden's. His jump shot is uncontestable in game. And what I mean by that is if you try to contest this card and you don't jump in Wemby's face, your opponent is going to get a wide open, the contest system in this game is broken, that it's going to be a wide open. If you were in Wemby's face with Mark Eden or Zach Edey, for example, and you put your hand up right in Wemby's face and he gets a good catch animation, it does not matter. It's going to be wide open, and more times than not, your opponent's going to green. Or if you're using this card, you're going to be able to green so many more shots than you think because of this Victor Wembanyama. If you guys don't believe me, go watch my No Money Spend series. I mean, he hits the most ridiculous shots because his jump shot is genuinely uncontestable. Now, number 6, just missing out of the top 5 best center cards in this game, I do have 100 overall Wilt. And the thing about Wilt is he might not have the craziest height, but he does have that 8-foot wingspan, and Wilt always gets some of the best defensive animations in this game, and he's also an extremely fast center, right? He might not be as tall as a Wemby, a Mark Eden, a Zach Edey, but what he's going to have over those cards is a lot more speed, agility, vertical strength, right? Even the 3-point shot is going to be a lot higher. The steal, the perimeter is going to be a lot better. He's a much better perimeter defender compared to a Mark Eden, a Wemby, and a Mark Eden, Wemby, and Zach Edey. He's going to be able to switch out onto the perimeter. He's going to be able to stay in front of guards and just overall be one of the best defensive cards in this entire game. And his jump shot is also better, in my opinion, than Zach Edey's, it's better than Mark Eden's, and you could argue it's better than Wemby's. It's not uncontestable like Wemby's jump shot, but it's a lot more consistent in my opinion in the catch and shoot, and it's a lot faster. So yeah, Wilt as an overall center, one of the best in this game. I do have him here at number 6. Number 5 though is going to be Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, this card is one of the best power forwards in this game and also one of the best centers in this game because of his size at the center position, 7'2" with a 7'7" wingspan. The way that I look at the comparison between him and Wilt, it's a very close comparison. I just prefer Dikembe's jump shot. That's about it. I mean, both those cards are insanely good at the center position. I would say Wilt is probably the better defensive card by a little bit because of the wingspan and the animations that Wilt does get. Rebounding the ball wise, they're about the same. They're both really good offensive rebounders and get some of the best rebounding animations in the game. But again, for me, it just comes down to the fact that I feel more consistent with Dikembe Mutombo's jump shot compared to Wilt's. But again, very close ranking at the number 6 and number 5 spot. Now, number 4 is going to be Invincible Shaq. And the thing about this Invincible Shaq card is he's a lot better at power forward. And I feel like most people that have Invincible Shaq are probably going to run him at power forward. He's only 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. Again, that is perfectly fine for the center position. You could run Invincible Shaq at center and be perfectly fine. Now, if you match up against number 3, Yao Ming, you might struggle a little bit just because of the size difference. Having those 5 extra inches and a couple extra inches on the wingspan, it does matter. And this Yao card is extremely broken, and that's why he's a top 3 center. So in my opinion, if you're gonna run either the 100 overall Shaq or the Invincible Shaq, it just makes a lot more sense to put this card at power forward. If you can put him at power forward and even pair him up with a Dikembe at center, pair him up with a Wemby at center, a Mark Eden at center, a Zach Edey at center, to me it just makes a lot more sense, and that's why he's a little bit lower on this list. But again, you have to remember Yao Ming, who's at number 3, is 7'6" at the center position. You could say Invincible Shaq is the better card because he can play power forward at a very high level, but when we're strictly talking about at center, you got to give that edge to Yao Ming. He is unbelievably broken, one of the best center cards in this game. But number 2 and number 1 are cards that I go back and forth of who I think is the better card. I feel like just because of his extra player model and size, Kareem is better at the center position and Wemby's better at power forward. I know that doesn't make sense when it comes to the height, but I feel like Wemby's player model sometimes is a little bit skinny for trying to guard like a Mark Eden who weighs 275 pounds or a Zach Edey who weighs 305 pounds. And I know there's only a 15-pound difference between Kareem and Wemby, but I feel like Kareem also with the legend badges, defensively, it's going to matter a lot more. Like, for example, you know, Wemby's got a lot of legend badges, but he's missing like a movable force round legend, interceptor round legend, brick wall, pogo stick, you know, on-ball menace, pick dodger, and just all the other badges. The difference between Hall of Fame to legend is not a crazy difference, but I do think there's a noticeable difference in game. And again, it's a very close ranking. Both these cards, I would say, are the 2 best cards in this entire game and the 2 best centers in my team as well. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about my top 10 ranking? And like I said earlier, let me know what center cards you guys are currently rocking on your squad, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.